For me, it's about the law and people. How am I supposed to quantify the value of these things when I don't have evidence?
I'm sorry.
And how people can resolve their problems and just be better for it.
Justice with passion.
I always knew I was going to go into law because I tried to see everybody's point of view in an argument. You say one thing, she says another. So who am I to believe?
Justice with truth.
Either you make the decision or I make the decision. You won't like mine.
This is Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. Josie Way is suing Tracy Yang in the amount of $3,200. Ms. Way claims her former employer still owes her for nanny services and says she worked the entire month before she was fired abruptly after a secret was revealed.
Okay, Ms. Way, okay. Complicated case. You are suing your former employer, Mrs. Yang, for $3,200. It was a month of wages that she did not pay you.
Yes.
Because you were under contract.
Yes.
From what I understand, you were the nanny for the family for about 4 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So just explain why we're here today.
I'm here today because I'm suing my former employer, Tracy, because she did not pay me for my last month of work, which was $3,200.
Okay.
I was a nanny for her for 4 years. I took care of her children, the house. I cooked for them, I cleaned for them, cared for the kids, loved the kids, and she fired me and did not pay me for the last month of work.
Okay. Why did she fire you?
Because I was having an affair with her husband, Stephen.
Okay. So did you work the full month that you are suing for?
Yes.
Okay. So she fired you, what, at the end of the month when she found out?
She fired me at the end of the month. That's the same day when I told her about the affair.
Okay.
And she told me to pack up my stuff right away, and then I left the home.
Mm-hmm.
I had nowhere to go.
Are you shocked that you got fired?
I mean, it wasn't a surprise for me.
Okay, it shouldn't have been a surprise.
It wasn't.
I know it takes two to tango, two people to have an affair, but you were a trusted person in the house to be there to take care of their children and of the family. So that is a huge violation of trust. So I probably would have done the same thing and let her go and let you go. So you did ask her for that month of wages that you did work?
Correct.
Why did you not pay Mrs. Yang? She did work for the month. Why didn't you pay her for those wages?
Your Honor, it's very difficult for me to be in your courtroom right now. I recently lost the love of my life and the father of my 2 young children. I treated Josie like she was family, and now I feel completely betrayed by her. And
So your husband passed away?
yeah, he passed away of a heart attack, and
I'm so sorry to hear that.
thank you. I feel not only betrayed because I'm totally confused, and now she's saying that I breached our contract when she's the one who's breached the contract for a year. She's been having the affair.
But I worked for that whole month.
I don't feel I owe her anything.
Okay. All right. Is that it? That's all you guys have to say?
I just wanted to say,
I have a copy of the employment contract.
yes.
Is there anything else, Ms. Yang, that you want to give me or say?
Well,
or?
yeah, I mean, if she would just read the contract, it says in the contract that you're supposed to behave in a professional manner.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, on the contract it also said that you're supposed to pay me the last day of the month that I worked.
Was it professional?
$3,200.
Is it a
It was in a sense where I take care of your children,
but sleeping
and I
with
clean
my
the house,
husband,
and I cooked for everyone.
sleeping with my husband nullifies all of that because that's unprofessional behavior.
But that did not stop me from loving and caring for your kids.
I don't believe I'm hearing this.
And keeping your house organized and clean. so that you come to your home with a clean environment.
Okay. And did you find out about the affair Ms. Way told you after his death?
She told me 2 days after he passed away about this affair. She told me the day of his burial. I couldn't believe my ears. I was mortified, and I don't believe that she's pregnant with my husband's baby because she had a lot of boyfriends. I mean, we became good friends. She told me she was dating around a lot.
They were not my boyfriends.
That's not what she told me.
What
They
did
were
she
just
tell you?
dates.
She told me she had multiple boyfriends, and so now I don't know what to believe.
Coming up on Justice for All.
What am I supposed to do? Just not tell her? And I don't even have a job
you
right
wait
now.
the time. You wait the time when it's the appropriate time. You don't do it on the day that her husband is being buried and said, by the way, I had an affair with your husband, I'm pregnant with this kid.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Josie Way, who is suing Tracy Yang for breach of contract.
And you found out the day you were going to bury your husband.
Yes. That's the day she chose to tell me all of this. And I'm horrified, but like I said, I just don't know what to believe anymore. I'm so confused, and I'm here to prove that that's not my husband's baby.
I know that's why you both requested that I look at the paternity test.
Yes.
That's not something I asked to do, but I will entertain that, and I do have the results. Ms. Way, why did you tell Mrs. Yang about the affair? Why pick the day when she's burying her husband?
I just couldn't hold it anymore. Stephen and I, we were in love. We spent a lot of time together when Tracy was away to work, and Stephen and I, we were living under the same roof, and me and the kids and Stephen, it was really like a family. I think I was doing him a justice telling Tracy the truth.
But you don't think there's anything wrong with you two having an affair and violating every single promise that you promised this family?
Having an affair wasn't right. I mean, I'm not proud of that. But I also wanted to find the love of my life, and I think Stephen was the man I wanted to live with.
And as I said before, it takes two to have an affair, but you cheated with a married man in his own house, in front of his wife, in front of his own kids, the children that you were entrusted to care for. And you don't think that's unprofessional and completely against the contract that you promised, that you signed, that you promised to do?
When I signed the contract, I didn't think I would fall in love with Stephen. I never thought I would sleep with a married man.
Did you ever hear something about willpower, about quitting? I mean, did you guys did you two talk about that? Because while I know Stephen is not here with us, it's just as much as his fault, but you're the only person that's here now.
I thought about it, but after I told Stephen...
And you don't think that was lying to Mrs. Yang, to somebody who called you a friend? What do you think is going to happen when her two daughters find out in the future that her dad passed away and their nanny that they loved and grew up with for 4 years was having an affair with her dad? Have you ever thought the effect that the two girls are going to feel? I can tell by your face it's no.
Stephen also said we would start our own family.
And don't you think everything you're saying is so horrible? I mean, I just would have walked away without payment. The person she trusted to take care of her family her and her husband violated her trust in her family by having an affair under her roof for 1 full year. Then you have the lack of decency to tell her on the day you're burying him because you couldn't take it anymore. You didn't even think about her and her daughters, but you couldn't take it anymore, so you had to fess up. And you tell her when her husband passes away, you didn't even think about her and her feelings and her daughter's feelings. You didn't think about Stephen's family. You only thought about yourself, and that's it. You don't think that's wrong?
What am I supposed to do? Just not tell her? And I don't even have a job
you
right
wait
now.
the time. You wait the time to tell her when it's the appropriate time. You don't do it on the day that her husband dies and fesses up that her husband is being buried and said, by the way, I had an affair with your husband and I'm pregnant with this kid. And you don't have a job. I'm sorry you don't have a job. But that's something you did on your own. When are you due?
I worked consistently as a nanny.
I know, but when are you due? When are you going to have the baby?
I'm 6 months, and so another 3 months. And that's why I'm suing her. A part of it is because I really need this money. And she's well off.
Just because she's well off doesn't mean she has to pay you for something.
No, it doesn't, but I did work for the whole month.
I understand that. Let's talk about the word professional, because I had to really analyze the word professional in the contract that you signed, and you signed. I have a copy. You gave me the original. You must act professional. So if I hire a caterer to come and have a party at my house, and I put a clause saying you must be professional all the time. What is the job of that caterer? The job of that caterer is to be professional. May I please give you this? May I take your plate? So that is professional for that position, right? When I looked at this contract for a live-in nanny where you had different responsibilities, taking care of the girls, cooking, assisting, because I understand you did have a housekeeper, but you assisted in the cooking, the cleaning, taking care of the girls, taking care of the family, serving in different roles for the girls, and assisting Mrs. Yang. What is professional? Maintaining a good demeanor, being kind, following instructions well. I would imagine not stealing, not lying, not putting the girls at jeopardy, and not having an affair. That to me is perfectly reasonable. To require a nanny to be professional is not to have an affair with my husband.
Coming up.
This has never happened before. I never slept with any other people's husband.
I'm not passing judgment, but inherently we would want somebody who's going to take care of our children to behave ethically.
You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Josie Way, who is suing Tracy Yang for breach of contract.
So in my opinion, you violated the contract when you had a year affair with Mr. Yang. I don't believe that Ms. Yang owes you $3,200 because you violated the terms of your contract. You did not act professionally. Okay? So I will deny your claim of $3,200. All right?
Stephen would have...
What did you think was going to happen someday, Ms. Way? Did you? I don't know what would have happened if
This
you,
has
if you
never
would have
happened before. I never slept with any other people's husband.
I'm not passing judgment, but I am looking at a situation of fact pattern. Inherently, we would want somebody who's going to take care of our children to behave ethically. Having an affair with your boss is not, it's not something that's professional. It's not something that should be part of a nanny's job. It's the most important job a working woman's going to have, or a woman that stays at home. It's one of those things, the violation of trust. You just, how could she trust you to be a nanny in any other way? If she can't fundamentally trust you, you're no longer professional, right? So, based on that, I will deny your claim. Again, anything else, Mrs. Yang, that you would like to address?
I'd like to know the results of the paternity test.
Well, what are you going to do if it ends up being your husband's child?
Coming up.
I still don't believe she's pregnant with his child. I think it's one of her many boyfriends.
You can check the results.
What if it is your husband's child?
You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez. We're back with the case of Josie Way, who is suing Tracy Yang for breach of contract.
I would be devastated. I wouldn't know what to tell my 2 young children at home. But
I'm almost done, Miss Way. I'm almost done.
I still don't believe she's pregnant with his child. I think it's one of her many boyfriends.
You can check the results.
Okay, Miss Yang. What if it is your husband's child? You are more seasoned in life. I'm not asking you to accept anything. I'm just asking you. This is a child. What if it is Stephen's child? Do you think your daughters have a right to get to know this child?
Yes.
Do you think that maybe Stephen would want you
to adopt the child and maybe prove that she's an unfit mother?
The problem, Miss Way, is that Stephen is no longer here, so he can't provide you child support because he's no longer here. What you're gonna, if the child is Stephen's, you're gonna have to sue the estate of Mr. Yang. And that gets extremely complicated. Extremely complicated. I don't think she's an unfit mother, Mrs. Yang. I'm not condoning what she did. Please understand, I'm not condoning what she did. But it's my job to give a legal remedy. I don't think she's a bad mother. I think she made a horrible life mistake.
Thank you, Your Honor.
By having an affair with your husband. I can't even begin to think how you would feel.
Thank you.
I'm just thinking about this unborn child. Okay?
Judge Perez's verdict when Justice for All returns. You're watching Justice for All with Judge Cristina Perez.
So I'm going to go and go ahead and read. Let me finish with this first. Would you like to see this, Mrs. Yang?
Yes.
It's Stephen's child. This is a lot for you to take in, Mrs. Yang. It's a lot for you to take in. As I said, I'm not defending Josie, but it's a lot for her to take too. Now she's alone. She has no family here. Don't look to the past, look to the present. You have one of the most incredible experiences in your life ahead of you, okay? Just be very positive, okay? And be strong. And go out and look for help. Okay? Good luck. Good luck, Mrs. Yang.
Judge Perez has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been denied.
You ruined me. I hope you're happy.
I'm sorry for sleeping with Stephen.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.